Hello and welcome back to Off the Post. In today's video we'll be discussing 3 things we learned from game week 1, okay? But before that, as always, please like, comment, subscribe, it's very much appreciated and it goes a long way in helping me build a small community on my channel. We've recently just hit 162 subscribers and I just want to say a massive thank you for all you guys showing your support on my videos, all the likes and the comments. It definitely doesn't go unnoticed, okay? But if you've noticed that I've got a nice little addition to my YouTube setup in a DJI mic mini, okay, this will definitely help in my future videos. And I just want to say, if you've got any more recommendations, you know, to sort of upgrade my YouTube setup in the future, please let me know in the comments down below. But yeah, let's get straight into the episode, shall we? Kicking off with the first thing we learnt in game week 1, and the first thing is Sunderland are here to stay after comfortably beating West Ham 3-0, and for me this game was amazing. The first game back in 8 years in the Premier League, okay? He had some fantastic goals from Mayenda. For me, Mayenda is such an exciting player for Sunderland because he just does the business every time he's called upon. He got a goal in the Championship semi-finals in the playoffs. He got a goal in the finals as well in the playoffs, and he's got a goal in the opening fixture of the Premier League season. So Mayenda is definitely their starting striker, and I reckon he can get up to, like, I want to say at least, you know, 8 to 10 goals this season for Sunderland, which will do them the world of good and potentially keep him in the Premier League. Now for me, when you talk about Sunderland, it's a midfield that absolutely wins the majority of these games for them this season in Granit Xhaka, Diora and Noah Sadiq, okay? For me, again, I don't really know much about the two in midfield. Obviously Noah Sadiq and Diora. I haven't watched them, to be honest. I'm going to be completely honest. I haven't watched them. Don't get me wrong. We knew exactly what Granit Xhaka was going to do. He was going to sit in that CDM position, being a deep line midfielder, and sort of just spray balls into those midfielders, into those forwards, into those wingers, and he does suit that role down to the T. But the other two, okay, Noah Sadiq was probably one of the most interesting players on the whole pitch in that you know, the first game back in the Premier League since about 8 years. He honestly was. He was covering so much ground. He was winning tackles. He was passing balls. He was, you know, dribbling through players, and you know, also Diora as well. He was getting shots off. There was that one shot in the first half, I think just before they scored the first goal, and for me, he honestly could have scored the first goal of the game. He probably should have scored. He probably could have done a little better, Diora. But don't get me wrong. I feel like I don't want to you know, big up Sunderland too much because it is the first game, and you know, West Ham are sort of on a doom and gloom sort of down spell at the moment with some of the transfers they've made and whatnot. It's not looking good for their, you know, season so far. So I don't want to overhype Sunderland, but I really do feel like they're going to go all the way and survive in the Premier League. If you think about some of the goals they scored, okay, Mayenda's first goal, you know, it came from a lovely ball cross from, I want to say the left back, I'm pretty sure, either left back or left centre mid. And yeah, it was a fantastic ball in the box, and Mayenda just got his head onto it. And the second goal was also another header, wasn't it, from Daniel Ballard, one of the most consistent centre backs they've had for the last recent years, okay. And it was a lovely ball in the box from Simon Adingra, and I feel like that's what he's gonna provide this season. Those lovely balls in the box, those sort of dribbles past the defenders, creating opportunities for the strikers and the midfielders and even the defenders, like he did in this game. And the third goal as well was also scored by Isidore. So for me, you know, you've got two players in there, two forward players in there that they obviously had last season doing the business from this season. It's not even any you know, new signings that have scored. So for me, when you've got, you know, the players from the Championship being the mainstay players in your team, plus the additions of the new signings doing well and sort of feeding you the balls and whatnot, I really do feel like Sunderland will go all the way and survive in the Premier League. But yeah, moving on now to the second thing we learned, which is we shouldn't be sleeping on Manchester City winning the Premier League this season. Now, don't get me wrong, I've seen a few opinions out there that sort of, you know, Man City won't be able to keep up with the likes of Liverpool and Arsenal because of their transfer business and whatnot. But if you think about some of the players they've signed and how well they played against Wolves, beating them 4-0 in the game over the weekend on Saturday, I'm pretty sure, it was an absolutely fantastic fixture. Don't get me wrong, Man City are that good of a team. They can just roll over teams with ease. We've seen it year in, year out under Pep Guardiola, okay, and it's just very much the same in this game against Wolves. Obviously, Haaland scored 2 goals. You've got new signings in Renders and Churchy pepping in with the goals as well. And for me, I just didn't expect these 2 signings to, fit into the team so seamlessly, if that makes sort of sense. I thought it would have taken them a little bit longer to sort of, adapt to the Premier League and all that sort of good stuff. But Renders, let me tell you this for sure, he looks like he's slotted into the team with ease. He looks like he's been to the team for a good 10, 15 years, okay? Because if you think about, him being that Gundogan replacement in midfield, scoring those goals, he's the perfect player to do so because he's scoring goals in pre-season. He scored his first goal in his debut. Churchy scored his debut goal as well. And I'll tell you what, Renders, right, I feel like I'm more excited about him than I am Churchy. And I would never have thought that at the start of the season, okay? Because some of his goals he can score, that run he made to score that goal, okay, where he sort of, made space, opened up his body and shot with his left foot. It was fantastic, and I'm pretty sure there was a nice little quote after the end of the game where he was saying he didn't know whether he was going to shoot with his left foot, but his left foot is just as good as his right foot, so that's why he shot, which was so fascinating to hear. It was so refreshing to sort of hear a player have that much confidence in their ability, and for it to pay off. It really was an amazing game for Manchester City. It does really go down to show that they're actually in the title race. Don't discount them against the Liverpool, against the Arsenal, because they're right in it, and I feel like they will be right amongst it this season, Manchester City. Because even when you think about Erling Haaland, right, scoring those 2 goals, just goes to prove that he's not going to drop off this season. A lot of people had the opinion that he had an off season last year, and if Erling Haaland had an off season last year, scoring 22 goals in an off season is absolutely crazy still, isn't it? I'm pretty sure he came second in the top scorers in the Premier League. So if that was an off season for Haaland, we'll have to see him in a good season. What's a good season if that's an off season scoring 22 goals? That's the point I'm trying to make. He's just so clinical. He never misses a shot, really, does he? Don't get me wrong. There was that opening header where he sort of could have scored, but he did miss. Hit the ball over the bar, which was a little bit unfortunate because he could have got a hat trick, couldn't he? In game week 1 of the opening season. So it was a little bit unfortunate from that standpoint. However, getting 2 goals in game week 1 is definitely nothing to be sad about, is it? Okay, moving over now to the third thing we learned from game week 1. Okay, Liverpool do not need Alexander Isak to win the Premier League. Okay, now I'm going to make this sort of conversation irrelevant by saying that Liverpool have signed many players and they don't look out of place, do they? Obviously, in that game against Bournemouth, winning 4-2, their defence looked a little bit shaky. But however, their attackers are absolutely fantastic. Their attackers are going to score goals galore this season, aren't they? For me, their attack isn't a problem now. They need to buy players in defence, don't they? The defence looks shaky. For whatever reason, Konate just wasn't on the money in this game, was he? He looked shaky. In the likes of Semenyo, Cliver, Evan Neilson, they were causing Konate all types of problems in this game. And for me, they need to improve in that area. Don't get me wrong, they've signed 2 quality fullbacks. However, it might take them a little bit longer than expected to sort of adapt to that team, adapt to how Arne Slot wants to play in the Premier League. So yeah, it is a little bit of a weird one for Liverpool's defence. For me, you don't need Alexander Isak because you want to see those rivalries in football, don't you, with those top number 9s. And if you've got, Hugo Ekitike and Alexander Isak on the same team, it just takes away that extra element of what makes football so exciting. And for me, I don't want to see them both on the same team just because Hugo Ekitike, signing him for 85 million, I'm pretty sure. Make him your number 1 player in that striker position. He scored a debut goal, for God's sake, you know what I mean? That debut goal was fantastic, don't get me wrong. Got very lucky in that deflection to sort of keep the ball and sort of take it in stride and sort of get a nice little shot off to score that goal past the goalkeeper Petrovic. So it was very lucky in that sort of sense, but you've got to create your own luck in that sort of aspect. There was obviously Luis Suarez had that sort of ability to sort of keep hold of the ball in those sort of tricky situations where it was sort of bouncing towards him and he could have the ball could have gone either way, but then he got a bit of luck on his side, if you like. So yeah, I feel like Hugo Ekitike is more than enough, and I reckon he can score a good 10 to 15, even 20 plus goals this season. Honestly, he could, but you don't need Alexander Isak to win the Premier League. That's one thing for sure, okay? You don't need to spend all that money. Spend that money in the defensive areas. Don't get me wrong, of course they've just signed the Italian centre back in the guy from Parma. However, is he going to come in and do the business straight away? Is he going to take a little bit longer to adapt? Don't get me wrong, he's a very tall centre back, isn't he? Like 6'5", so he is very physical in that sort of aspect. He is good in the air as well, from the highlights I've seen on the YouTube compilations. However, I just don't know whether or not, signing someone like a Margehi would have been better to improve your team straight away. But then again, they've already splashed all the cash this season, haven't they? They've spent like 237 million, something crazy like that. So would you realistically spend another 35 million on Margehi, or would you rather wait for to sign him on a free contract next season? So it's sort of just weighing up those two deals, and for me, it probably would make more sense to sign him on a free contract. But yeah, those are the three things we learned this season. Okay, I feel like Sunderland are here to stay. They're gonna absolutely prove people wrong in this season. Don't get me wrong, they might lose to the big boys, but when they're facing up against the relegation teams, when they're facing up against the mid-table teams, I think that's where they're going to, prove the haters wrong, okay? I feel like we shouldn't be sleeping on Manchester City because they've got everything they need to sort of be in that title race once again, and I feel like Liverpool do not need Alexander Isak because they've proven in the game against Bournemouth they can score goals. It's just their defence is shaky because Semenyo, opened their team up with ease as well, didn't they? But yeah, let's end the video with some questions, okay? Do you agree with me and feel like Sunderland will stay in the Premier League, or have they not got enough? Do they need one or two more signings here and there to sort of stay in the Premier League? How do they feel about whether or not we're sleeping on Manchester City? Are they in a title race this season, Manchester City? How highly do you rate the signings of Renders and Churchy? Do you feel like Liverpool need Alexander Isak or not? Or is it just being a bit greedy? Do they need more, defenders rather than forwards going forward in the transfer market with I want to say 3 or 4 weeks left of the transfer market? Should Liverpool put all their eggs in the Hugo TK basket, right, and make him their number one striker for the season because he's proven that he can score goals. He honestly can. But yeah, that's where I'm going to end the video, okay? Before that, as always, please like, comment, subscribe. It's very much appreciated, and it goes a long way in helping me build a small community on my channel. We've recently just hit 162 subscribers, and I just want to say a massive thank you, really. All the likes and the comments, it definitely doesn't go unnoticed. All the support on social media as well, I really do appreciate it, and I just want to say, a massive thank you to the bottom of my heart. And yeah, if you guys got any more recommendations for, how to improve my YouTube setup and all that sort of good stuff, please let me know in the comments down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.